Welcome aboard Flying with Mike. Hope you enjoy the flight today. We are flying from Tana, Alaska over to Ruby Airport, Alaska. PATA to PARY. We're going to try it in the new King Air that's available at X-Plane freeware as a mod to the default. We've had a lot of problems on streams with it, but we're going to give it a shot on this 100-mile run. So, folks, I want you to sit back, relax, feel free to join us. The aircraft around the aircraft you'll see here shortly, they are just static, but we'd love you to join us here in Alaska as well. So, folks, let's fly with Mike and enjoy flying Alaskan bush. Well, hello everybody and welcome aboard Flying with Mike. We are live up here in Alaska again, flying from Tana over to um, Ruby Airport, about 100 miles away. Don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that, but for some reason I am. We'll try to get better at it. Tana, or the actual name of the airport is, let me pull that up because it's actually quite lengthy. Wrong one. Ralph M. Calhoun Memorial Airport, Papa Alpha Tango Alpha. Is what you got in the title down there. So, but anyway, spooled up. Welcome aboard, and we'll do, like I said, the best we can for you on those settings as I get going here. One thing I've learned, I did a test flight just before my 48-hour shift the night before, and I found easing the power up so that you don't go over those red lines on prop and ITT at least got me into the air. And I was able to fly around the pattern one time and do it. Now, I wished I thought about it and had done a second circuit as a touch and go to make sure I can do the same, a second time. But we're going to find out. Plus, in the ensuing 2 days, the developer has released a new version of the mod, 9.6, I believe it is. Let me check here. I had it right up in front of me. And yeah, 9.6. So let me get back to a different screen, and I'm going to put that in the chat room for those interested in this King Air. By the way, as you look at the ramp, it's the gray one in the middle. All right, but anyway, yeah, we will do our best here. As my laptop struggles, there it goes. And one more click over on the laptop, and then we're going to get moving. All right, so there you go. You see the plane. We're going to kind of start zooming in. Again, where my cursor is on the Baron and that far Cessna, those folks are static. They don't, they just came up when I have it so that the static aircraft are there. I'm getting close to turning it off because it might be causing some issues also. All right, but one of the big things you can see with the mod is I slowly, whoops, let's, help to come here and then do that. It's a beautiful paint job. I've got to hand it to him. Great, great gray. I like that slate or whatever that gray is called. I like the winglets. I'm not a big eye candy toys along the airplane kind of person. Um, so the fuel truck, that's a little too much for me. But as he explains in his video, hey, whatever floats your boat. So to me, I'd rather see chocks that I can remove separately from closing the door. I don't know how easy that is. These are what I would look for, and if not, it wouldn't be there anyway. But I do like that he does put a generator out there when we push the button in the aircraft, which I'll do here shortly. But looks like what do we have here? Somebody I think just followed us. Oh, hello. I didn't catch the name. Para Paragodney, thank you for following this. We do appreciate you. Welcome aboard. How's your day going? I hope it's going great. Uh, okay, spooled up too. We'll see you in about 40 minutes. I'll try and drag my feet a little bit because, well, it's flying with Mike. I always drag my feet. So we're going to try, though, to get airborne around that time. And I just noticed I'm maybe spiking a little high on my microphone today. All right, let's back that down a little. And we'll pull this back a little. There we go. All right. So, but yeah, welcome aboard, Paragodney. We appreciate you joining the stream. Um, so let's get over and into well, let's do it this way. Let's start with Sim Toolkit. We'll do kind of a pre-brief of the flight, and then once we're finished with that, we'll come in, get the aircraft set up as well. So we're going to bring Okay. All right, folks, I should be back. I just realized what a silly thing I just did. I went to my Sim Toolkit page, scene, and forgot it doesn't have the microphone on it. Oh, man, it's going to be one of those days. Anyway, uh, Paragotti, glad to hear you're up in Alaska. I see your only gripe's a 3D crew. Yeah, that's kind of weird too to me. Especially when you let's see, is it when I go to my switches view here? Uh, I just see legs. To me, that's it. Spooled up too. Thanks for the nod that I lost my audio. Yeah, that's what I get for trying to be sneaky and ended up killing my mic. But anyway, that's one thing. The big thing me and Spooled Up have wrong with it is the engine fire issue. Uh, a lot of it I've gotten under control by controlling my how fast I input the engines so that I keep them under red line, and on these gravel runways, keeping the anti-ice on, even on hot days, which does not sound right, but it is what it is. Um, but the other thing that's nagging at me right now, the brakes. I will park the plane, set the brakes, shut the plane down, and if not, and come back a second later, I'm halfway across the ramp rolling. I haven't figured out that one yet. So, but anyway, we are on Sim Toolkit here in the middle. Um, Let me come up here so I can see it better. There we go. Now, this is the one thing I wanted to say here. This is not a paid advertisement for Sim Toolkit. It's a free product, folks. If you pass on this product, you're missing out on so much. So much integration. Now, I'm up in Alaska, so I can't show a lot, but this individual right over here, that's a Sim Toolkit pilot, I think. Uh, he doing this. My what's going on here? Yep, that should be a Sim Toolkit pilot. I don't think. Got to remember the colors here. Yeah, the green ones, if we see any, would be VATSIM. Um, there we go. And usually you hover over, it tells you what they are. I'm not going to, and I don't know if he wants to be on the stream or not. But yeah, this is one thing. It shows the weather. It shows also what ATC is up. I can also change the, I always forget overlays. That's where it's at. I can change it. And usually I like running with the satellite here, just because it gives you an idea of the terrain you're around. And folks, you're in Alaska, so expect terrain, um, especially as you go further south. However, there is a nice mountain range right up here. Part of it's called the Anuvix. I don't know the rest. Or no, Brook something. I'm trying to remember Ice Road Truckers. And fun. They were fun. We had a blast. We're going to be pretty much south of those now for the rest of the 4 or 5 flights that I have with Mac Air to finish up this tour. So anyway, without further ado, let's move on. So flight planning wise, we'll go back to the flight overlay. There we go. And we're going to pull up load sheet. Now, this information comes from SimBrief. All you do is just click on this icon. Here, I'll get it to you real quick. Click here. Well, you're not going to see it because I've got an open flight plan. But it'll open up to a page where you can make your own flight plan or get one from SimBrief. Either way works great, or make your own another way. And then it brings you to this. You click Fly Now or Update, which brings you to this. And then you've got the ability here to file your flight plan, which I've already done. Choose your map styles and what you want on it. And of course, the load sheet. We'll go back to it. Today's flight's got 3 passengers back there. They're kind of scary looking. And a total of 700 pounds of payload. Includes 100 pounds of cargo. Fuel for today is 1,030 pounds. So we're going to get that all loaded up here momentarily. Let's get over to the actual flight plan from SimBrief. When it uploaded into here, this is the same brief you would get out of SimBrief. So this is my second one today. The first one was about 2 hours before flight, so I wanted more up-to-date weather information in it. So tail number is November 43 X-ray Sierra for our King Air. Here's the engines and the aircraft. Now, the big things we worry about are cost index if we're flying the jets, or what kind of cruise are we planning. Today it's Mach 0.45. I don't get into the Mach numbers with most of the time with the props. I more worry about speed on the dial. So air distance you can see is 128, and here's our average winds for the flight. Zero fuel weight is 8,654 pounds. If for some reason we have to find an alternate, ours is planned for right back where we're starting. That's a pretty big one all over the place. Alaska is no different. We're going to try for 14,000. We'll see what happens. And we are going to stay IFR. Technically, I don't have to today, but we'll stay just in case. And as you go through, like I said, this is exactly what SimTool or SimBrief gives you when you hit generate flight plan. Here's your fuel breakdown, and there's what they're going to load us with. Here's our route back to Tana if we need it. And here, as well as down here, is our actual routing, which is also in the chat room. Hang on a second. Mine was on the chat room. There we go. All right, so moving down. Then we got our times, and here's the weight breakdown. Below all of this is your route, waypoint to waypoint, all the breakdowns, the weather, and then the weather charts. Well, I've got a weather chart. You saw that in the beginning. And I want to click that button. Good. Now where I look for my chat is up and finally running. There we go. All righty, that helps a lot. So there's your flight plan, folks. We are going to go ahead and slide Toolkit out of here. And okay, I said slide it out of here and it didn't want to go. Let's try one more time. There it goes. Okay, across the top you see the flight that's planned and the information once we get going. Down in the lower right is our Discord channel. If you feel you want to continue conversations offline or online, hey, feel free to click there. So now, as you can see out the cockpit here, we have a fuel truck. Again, that's something eye candy wise, the developer wanted, whatever. It's, it's his mod, his way, I'm not, it is what it is. There's the scary part, folks. There's a body here. And I think if I keep turning, it's headless. Yeah, even scarier. Well, actually, in my case, that's not a bad thing. But we'll continue. All right, and we'll move over here real quick, just so you can see back. Now, there is a door you can slide here. And there's our kind of scary looking people back there. He did a great job. Way back in the back, you can see a little bit, the 100 pounds of cargo. Okay, so let's come back to the front here. Let's start going through the checklists. First thing we got to do, load the aircraft. So to do that, we're going to go up top here to flight, edit weight and balance. Now, we have a payload of 700 pounds. So that's all we're going to put here. And the fuel, 1030. And then I like to scroll through, make sure everything's lined up and even with each other. I did this once and things were way off. So done and apply. So now we have done the first thing where we load the baggage, secure it, check our weight and balance up against everything. We can go ahead and close the door. There goes the fuel truck. All right, so control locks, make sure they're released. I wouldn't know where to put them in the plane if I tried, but I know they're loose when I can do this and this. Okay, so everything's free. Seatbelts, they're on. Parking brake. My nemesis is set. We'll be testing this here in a moment to see if it really is. Circuit breakers are in. Overhead panel. The one thing I don't like is how slow these move. The default one seems to move a lot faster. I don't know if that's something maybe with the VR technology put in here or not. I'll be honest, I'm kind of scared to get on VR. I just can't imagine what this would be like full immersed like that. Now, one thing I will say, if you all notice and have been following the aircraft, he did get the textures worked out. So that looks better, especially down here where we can actually do the checks that he tells us to. And again, I'm on version 9.6 for this aircraft. Just a lot of switches. And if you guys happen to know how to make these move faster, don't be shy. Put it in the chat room. I'd sure love to know. See, if I just hold the switch, it's like this. If I use the mouse wheel, I get it a little faster. All right, so we'll get that in a minute. Now, one thing I've may help with the videos when I also put these up on YouTube a lot. I've noticed this panel is very dark on the shots. So I'm hoping by doing this, that helps. That is the master, what was it called again? Master panel lights on. So I'm hoping that helps. We're going to find out here shortly when we turn the battery on. We got lost here. Okay, oxygen panel. We're just going to go to here, move all the way over, come down, and it should be up close to the top of the line here, about 1,800 or so. They say 1,800 pounds. Static air. I don't know where that is. I'll be totally honest. Okay, and while we're over here, let's make sure the cabin temperature mode is in the off position. Right here. And that our, well, we'll hold on to seatbelts. They come later. Okay, so now let's move the prop levers. I think I can do this no, I may be too close. Yep. All right, it was too close. One thing he did modify, folks, is these. If you come down low enough, you'll get them both to move. That's not on the default. So the props are now forward. They're the middle two. The left two are your throttles. And over on this side, they're your fuel condition levers. Should be in the cutoff position right now. Okay. So what we're going to do is come over to the fuel panel. That's over here on the pilot side. Click them to on. Click the battery. Oh, hang on a second. Battery switch to on. That is helping out quite a bit. And inverter. We'll use number 1. I don't know how you check fuel pressure low yet. Any of these? Because I know there's not a warning up here that fuel pressure is low. All right. Okay. hang on a second. And which one are they wanting here on the checklist? The cross or transfer pumps to on. Not sure what sound I'm supposed to hear, and then we turn them off. All right, voltmeter, we'll check. All right, so currently we're on the center generator. It does have some, I know which one that is now. The engines are off. Here's the battery, looks good. Okay. Okay. All right, so annunciators, test and extinguish.
Pull up.
Okay. Cabin signs. Oops. Let's go down here. They're right over here. Let's go to no smoking and fasten seatbelts. And then we're going to start the engines. All right. So to start these engines up, I'm going to come up here because those of you that might be coming to us from the flight sim world, let me get rid of the yoke too. If you'd ever watched the turboprops fire up, you hear the engines whining, they're building up pressure, and the props aren't moving. Now, on some, there's a prop lock. I understand that. But even when you pull the prop lock off, it's like it snaps right to full speed. It's not like that. So this is how they should look. Okay, turning the right engine on first. We're watching, this should get above 12 first, but I wait for 20. Then I kick it in to low idle. Noticed how the prop was spinning the whole time, slowly building up, and now it's going into full. And at 50, we're going to turn that ignition switch off. Okay, it's past that, so past mods had that automatic, kind of like that. Okay, engine's on. Let's get the right generator, so we got to go up to this switch. Go 1, click up to reset, back down. Kill your master. So your gen should be on. Let me just see my switches here real quick. I know we're waiting on the inverter, loyal, and bleed air. Okay. All right, so there we go. Now, so the engines are on. Just to be safe, I'm kicking the anti-iso. They want us to go to high idle. Okay. Okay, we're built up, so now what we're going to do is exactly the same thing for engine number 1 or the left side. Starter switch on. There's 20. Let's go to low idle. And starter switch off. And we're on the generator. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn the inverter on, and then we're going to go to high idle. Okay, and finally we're going to check our oil and fuel pressures. Should have been doing that from the beginning, but I'm just going by how the checklist is set up. So our fuel pressures are up, oil pressure are in the green, temperatures are coming up. And now we can bring those levers back. And by levers, I mean condition levers, so it's the far right ones. Oops, see how if you don't get it in the right spot, it brings them individually. This is really nice once you get going and cruise. You're trying to fine-tune the props to 2000 or 1900, whichever checklist you have in hand. It's really a nice thing. I'm going to go ahead and pull the air on, keep the defroster off, pull that one on, pull the cabin air. All right, the one I didn't turn on is the defroster. Okay, so we've got the engines on, the anti-ice is on, so that shouldn't cause us any troubles. First thing we're going to do after start is turn the avionics on. Now I'm going to pull this up. This is between the seats. Let me just kind of allude to it. It's right down there. This is the panel we're going to be working with. So you want to turn the EFIS on. I go ahead and turn the rudder, the trim on, and the flight director. I'll set my rate in the middle, and then where is it? There it is. Okay, so we're going to set the inner ring is your aircraft, the outer ring is the cabin altitude. Aircraft altitude, cabin pressure. And we're going to set for 14. Looks like around 2,000 feet is what our cabin pressure is going to feel like. Okay, so now over on the, I'm going to get zoomed in. We'll do it this way. Over on the cabin temperature control, let's go to auto. Hang on, that's kind of loud. Bear with me, I'm going to adjust sounds. Oh, that's right. There, well, I want to get this engines a little more in here. Not much. There we go. Sorry for that. I'm going to go ahead and turn the bar light on. Got the inverters. They're set. Let's get the nav lights and the beacon on. Yes, those should have started first. Fuel control heat as required. Lights, transfer pumps. Let's go over here. Transfer pumps to auto. Crossfeed to auto. Annunciators. Okay, let's test them one more time. And cleared. And we're going to do an instrument check, and then we're going to set our avionics up now. So, instruments. Okay, our yeah, I know the story behind the legs and all. There's pulled up. Yeah, I've seen VR on the outside, but I've never dabbled in it. Oh, I see something I forgot that I like to do. That's to come down here and set that nav display to HSI. I like that display better. That's pilot preference there, folks. Okay, so let's get to work getting this plane all set to go. Powering up, yes, you heard it, powering up all the radios. And we're going to set for 14,000 up here. There we go. Now to turn these on, with your mouse you have to scroll up once you find the button. So now the GPSs are on. Alright, so let me make it easy on us all. Here's the route again. Just makes it if I'm able to. Hallelujah, I am. All right, so I don't know how to put airways in here yet. Folks, if you know how to manipulate this 530 better, by all means point me to the right documents or where I need to click to make some things happen on here that I really would love to see. But first fix is TAL. So what we'll do is click here where it says push cursor, scroll down one, then on the inner side, start putting them in. T, scroll over, A, scroll over, L. Tana, Alaska, boom. No, we don't want the one in Peru. That would make us go off course just a smidge. Now I'm going to go to Rossi, and there's a reason. I may go direct from Rossi to our initial on the RNAV, but for now, we'll put it in as Ross. Actually, I can pull up the fixes. Oh, come on, Mike. Don't go too fast. There we go. Tana to ZOSUM. Okay, sorry there. Let's see. Got the U, I believe, next. Let's make sure the spelling's correct. Z-O-S as in Sam, some, okay. And it's in Alaska, so that's the one. Enter, enter. Now Rossi, and that's R O S I enter. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put in, what's our last one, Horsey? Okay, and then last one, enter, accept, and then we just got to put in P A R Y. There we go, folks. There's our flight plan into that one. And you can see our course coming out of here. If we click flight plan, come off that. It's 229. Let's see. Takeoff runway 7. Right there, okay. Now here's the pain in the butt. There we go. And that's the course we're going to intercept. What I'm going to do is come back on it. When we take off, we'll do a right-hand circuit coming right back to grab the GPS to go down to Zosum, basically to join the Victor 489 to head down to Rossi, then the T-82 to Horsey, and then up to our initial into it. All right, so we are all set navigationally. Oop. I have to click that one. Now the bottom one, you can load it. I'm just gonna, I'm not even gonna load it. I'm just gonna get the map. Well, yeah, I do need to load it. Okay, so bear with me a second. And then Horsey. Told you I'm not going to put them all in. Thought about putting Rossi in, but I thought, no, we'll just put them all to here. Enter, enter. Here we go. And there it is on our flight plan. That's all I wanted to do. All right, so we're set up here. Continuing with our checklist, we're going to check our brakes. And then we're going to, let's get our trim set while we're here. Let's go up. I'll just put it on up because we're going to be adjusting it even more. I'm going to go flaps, 1 notch, which according to this looks like almost 30 to 40%, which is unreal. But that's okay. That's how it's set up in the plane. I don't know how that works. Okay. And auto feather, we're going to, well, we'll get that as we taxi. So here we go. We're going to try. Yep, parking brake's not engaged. Thankfully, though, the plane is not moving at the moment. But if I do this, just click my pinky trigger on my X52 flight stick, then it starts. Okay, main door's closed, we're set. And of course we're going to make that one proverbial check. We're on the map. And where am I on the map? There I am. Pre-flight, we're good to go. Here we go, folks. And I'm going to check freedom here one more time. And I'm going to use the gravel here as much as I can before getting out on the runway. What I definitely need to get is an altimeter setting before then, so we'll get that while we straighten up. Taxi light on. And all I did is turn the taxi light and recognition light on. $2999, okay. While we're taxiing, $16,600, $14,800. For those of you who may not know this, I've noticed this a lot lately. Now this may be just an X-Plane thing, may cross over, I don't know. Hang on a second, let me bring something into the fray here. Okay, I just brought my X pilot up. Now as you look at it, something looks weird on it. It says standby. It doesn't say mode C where you can click it, you know, to turn it on, turn it off. That is tied actually to your transponder. Now if you turn it on, it goes to mode C. Now that, so that's kind of weird. We found this actually coming out of, oh my lord, probably about 2 months ago, out of Phoenix Mesa. It just would not go to standby. And come to find out, once I turned it all the way to altitude on the Airbus, I actually had to turn another switch to on, brought it on. So fair warning, folks, be careful. All right, so final checks here. We're going to put the auto feather in the armed position. Propellers are checked. Condition lever is high level. Suction gauge is over on the other side. Looks, so I can't see it. Looks good. All right, we're running out of here. A ton of traffic in Alaska. King Air, Mac 572, back taxiing runway 7 for departure. Flight instruments checked, ice protection not needed, boost pumps are on, all switches are in the on or auto position on the fuel panel, and avionics and radar set. Now there is one setting on there that we can go to when there's weather around, and that is the radar on that lower pedestal. Flight controls, one more time, they're free. All right, before takeoff, pitot heat. We'll get down here and get turned around and do that. I'm going to use, if given, you know, whatever length of runway, I'm going to try to use, or at least set up to use all of it if I need to. I may not need it, but it's stupid not to. It's a good way to end up in the grass on the other end and possibly flipped over. Okay, transponder to altitude. And strobes should be on. Well, they're going to get shut off here in a second. That's okay. We'll get them set here in a minute. Synchrophasers off. And auto ignition will turn on. Well, we can do it right now. We got just... Well, we'll do it at the other side. Okay, let's get turned around. Little bit of power to get it around the curve. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. So beacons, we'll probably have them off again. Okay, here's your auto ignitions to on, and we'll have green lights. All right, so pitot heat's going on. Stall warning. No warning lights. Said a little prayer. Here we go. Actually, we're just going to ease into power now. 80 knots.
V1. Rotate.
Okay, so that was good. Gear up. All right, little bit of trim
Gear up.
on the aileron, which I usually don't
V2.
need to. And let's execute that right-hand turn. Get the flaps up. So far, so good. All right, spoiled up 2. I went up to just the stop on my X52, which put us at about, what is that, 93% turbine and 1150 or so on torque and just below red line. So not sure if you're seeing that. Let me just zoom in real quick. As soon as we roll out here, I'm going to set the autopilot and the props first. Okay.
$2,500.
All right, come back out. Okay, let's set the props first. Autopilot. I did it. I popped them and saw it happen. All right, folks, we're going to have to do an emergency landing. I hate this part. I don't think we're going to be able to make the field. Yeah, I moved the props just past the...
Bank angle.
How can I have a bank angle?
1,000.
Oh, great. The gear's not going to come down. I figured that. Yeah, there's no way to make the airport. Well, we're going to do a Sully approach.
500.
Low. Gear.
400.
All right, we're going to just abort. All right, folks, we'll join you real quick here. We're going to reset in the other King Air. spooled up. I think what I did is I pushed those throttles just at the wrong time too much, and they overheated, and I don't get why they would, but they did. So we're gonna reset and be right back with y'all. Hang on, we're gonna play some music in the interim. So enjoy.
Gear
10,
down.
All right, folks, we're back up and running. Yeah, yeah, what a fun time here on Flying with Mike. Yet again, another engine fire with it. So we're back in the default one that comes with X-Plane. Looks kind of like this one. So it actually doesn't it is what it looks like. Kind of swing around. Nice little Cessna 172 there, Baron on the other side. We're right where we started again. We're going to go through this kind of rapid fire. You all saw how it worked before. This one's more forgiving on pilots. I think the guy has more failures in it than most of the average pilots can handle out here. But it's his airplane, his mod. He can, however he wants. All right, so let's back up to the top here. Quick rundown. Let's make sure we're still loaded weight and balance correctly. No, we're not. All right, so 700. 1030 on the fuel. And everything looks good. So done and loaded. By the way, that's what it looks like. All right, so we're back to the aircraft. Baggage loaded, weight and balance checked. You can't see the control locks. Now you can. Well, you can't see the control locks. But as long as your instruments are free, they're not installed. So that's a big check to make. A lot of corporate aircraft especially fall prey to this, but I'm sure an airliner or two has found it too. Seat belts are set, parking brake set, and overhead panel has been set. We'll just show it to you. I've already gone through and set everything up. The one switch we had over here, we don't have those switches nor the neat little documentation around it. All right, cabin temperature mode is off. We'll go ahead and set the seatbelt sign on. And we still need to check the oxygen. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. All right, so here's your gyro suction, your pneumatic pressure, which we lost. That's why the landing gear wouldn't go down. And I'll be honest, I don't know where the manual is on here. Cabin air is right here and the oxygen right here. Okay, so coming down to the panel here. Now, unfortunately, we have to individually set each dial. I'm going to get rid of the yokes for now. So, landing gear down. Condition levers far right. They're in the cutoff position. Props full forward. Like I said, it's a pain. You got to move them individually. That was a neat feature he has. And make sure your throttles work. Okay. Fuel check. Okay, we're just going to kind of slide over here. So we're going to turn the boost pumps on. We're going to turn the battery switch on. It's the lower one here. Now, he had the external power switch right here tied to a red button here. The red button was the call for the generator. When you turn the switch on, then it would come on. If you didn't do that first, you didn't get any power out of it. So the battery's on, inverter on, fuel pressure low light. I don't get where they're getting fuel pressures and all, but it is 0, so it's low. Then we'll get the inverter off. Transfer pumps on. And then off. Okay. Fire detection.
Pull up.
And voltmeter, we'll look at it. And it shows plenty. Cabin signs are set. Annunciating warnings are cleared as best we can. Let's go ahead and start these bad boys back up and get going. All right. So, again, right engine first. Watch the prop. Big difference than the predecessors. I don't know about the new one. Again, I wait for 20. Okay. Went a little early, but it'll light off. Okay, the ITT is up. The torque is not up yet. Fuel flow's up and the pressures are up. So let's go ahead and turn the starter off. There she goes, winding up. Generator to... We still do the 2 position, even though it's not required in this one. I'll go ahead and turn some bleed air on. And the beacon. And let's go to high idle. Folks, let me know how sound sounds. That's kind of fun to say, sound sounds. With the engines, if I need to turn them up a little, let me know, because I'm thinking I might need to. Okay. All right, let's get number 1 started. You can see it's starting to spin. Now, 12%, we can actually put the fuel on the condition lever in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. On the mod, I let it get up to 20 because it's like it seems as soon as I hit the starter, it's already past 12. There's 50. Starter off. Generator. Okay, and the bleed air. Okay, now all we got to do is turn the inverter on. I want it to go with number 2 this time. Okay, we got a clean slate up here. And let's just zoom in one more time. Okay, ITTs are about the same. Torque is coming up. Turbines are coming up as well. We're still in low idle. That's why. That'll bring them up. And we're green on everything. All right, so moving on to the after start. Let's go to avionics are on. And I'm going to start pulling these guys back. To low idle. And again, below us, I'm going to turn on EFIS, trim. Actually, I don't know if I need trim. I'll have to check. His plane I do. This one, sometimes I don't. Whoops. This one's default way off to the other way. $14. Let's go ahead and get the yaw damper engaged. This defaults to it, and I'm just going to get these defaulted. Pushing them sets it to your heading right now. Okay, so we're set here. Let's get those anti-ice on. Transfer pumps to on. To auto. Crossfeed to auto. Again, one more check. They're good and clear. Instruments checked. We're good. Okay, so we're going to do a quick, let's look at the flight plan deal. Turning the power on here real quick. All right. Now, one thing I noticed when I came back up, of course, this is set. Make sure our flight plan is correct. Let me bear with me a second. Okay, our flight plan is in. We're going to go to on. Frequency-wise, just to run you through it real quick, we got Unicom for VATSIM here. POSCON's guard channel. I just like the channel, folks. That's why I put it there. Ingenious 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Over here, I have the international guard channel of 121.5 and another Unicom channel that POSCON uses. I'm not on POSCON, but it's 122.95. Sometimes I'll just dial in 122.90. That way, if I get to a place where the Unicom is being used as an ATIS, I switch over to it. That's all. Real simple stuff. Frequency-wise, I have TANA, T-A-L, which is 16.6, dialed in on nav 1. Galena, which isn't our airport, but it's nearby, 14.8. I'll have dialed in on number 2. I also have it for number 1 in case we need it. Let's go ahead and bring that up. There we go. And for NDBs, let me get my map again. Do we have one here? No. How about here? No. Okay, so we don't have any NDBs to work with, so that's non-existent. I hate that gauge. To be no offense to anyone, but I hate that. Never liked it when I was trying to fly. And there was something on the new one. I think right here that I wanted to check out what that meant. Anyway, no biggie. Okay, so we got everything set here radio-wise, GPS-wise. Flight plan, it's already in there. Same with the bottom one, same flight plan we had before, and they're dialed up. I'm actually gonna, let's keep it short range, just in case there's a problem. All right, so everything's ready to go, folks. Let's get back out here. I'm gonna start the flight with Mac Air again. Now, I do want to, also, one thing with the mod, it doesn't matter in this one, but when you're flying in the mod, recognition lights will get turned on. The EFIS auxiliary power, he highly recommends turning on. Reason being, and I don't know, I haven't talked with a real King Air pilot. We actually had some last week. They were in with our Boeing project at the airport. But there's so much power, I guess, with the wheels going up and down, which kind of makes sense when you feel the air, but then again, it kind of doesn't make sense. I don't know. So I don't know the validity, but turning the auxiliary power on just helps on the use of power on the aircraft, is what he says when you're taking off and landing especially. Also, the use of anti-ice. It's more of a FOD reliever than heating element. Again, I know nothing about jet engines. I know very little about aircraft piston engines other than magnetos and stuff like that are used with my private pilot license that I have. Real world, not simulated. But beyond that, I don't know. By the way, that private pilot license last flight was in 1986. Yes, that is intentionally said to date myself so you all understand. Okay, finally, altimeter was 2996. Oh, 2999. Okay, I'm pretty sure that didn't cause the crash. If it did, God help us. All right, let me get my heading set one more time. Let's see, what is that dialing into? Okay. right, I may have to recycle Sim Toolkit here. Runway heading is 70, so I need 240. Yep, I'll have to recycle it. Stand by. One second here. We're just going to fire it up right from here. Sim Toolkit, Sim Toolkit. And again, Para Godney, thank you for joining the stream again. We sure do appreciate that. That we'll get the connection here in a moment. There it goes. We really do appreciate you joining. I hope we're not scaring you off with all the engine fires, but it's prominent with that plane, at least with me. Now I'm hearing it from Spooled Up, so you know there could be some other issues he has to work out, but overall I love the look of the plane. I love the functionality. I think we could do with a little less on the failure side, but again, you know, it's going to be might sound kind of snarky. It's all about him, but it is his mod, so it is all about him. So whatever he wants and likes, hey, power to you. You're doing more than I know how to do in X-Plane. Heck, I don't even know how to do that in FSX, which I've got a ton of hours in. So power to you. Good, you know, kudos that you're trying. Hey, that's the big thing. So let me try this one more time. There we go. All right, one last check on the METAR. If I could spell it right. $30 now. Okay, 3000. Variable winds, 10 miles. We do have now an overcast sky at 6,000. Okay, so that'll be fun to punch through. 30. Here we go, folks. All right, so we're ready to taxi. Go ahead and set our flaps. Let's go to high RPM. We'll keep it low and see how that works. We've got our air pulled. Let's get the air going to the passengers. Just making sure I went the right direction. And that's one other thing. I was trained, turn your pitot heat on before you taxi. He says differently. So I'm not going to argue with the guy. So let's get this thing rolling. All right, so after starts are done, taxi will come out. There we go. All right. Well, we haven't scared you away. I see Paragati. I see you out there in the chat room, along with Spooled Up there. So hopefully with the default plane, we can make it look better. But man, I wish we could have flown it with the other. Okay, so taxi lights can come on now. Flaps are set. And we're going to basically do the same thing. We're going to go all the way to the end of the runway. This time in low RPM. Again, still nothing in the red. Good. And this one, none of us have trouble with, so... But we'll get her wound up, let you all see. I'm still not going to go over red lines, or at least try not to. But yeah, we'll give her almost 100% torque. or turbine, whichever one I'm looking for. I'll have to wait till I spool up. All right. So I hope y'all have had a good start to your week. I just came off a 48-hour work shift at the firehouse at the airport. Go back in tomorrow for another 24. That's why we're doing these flights today. Try to do these on Wednesdays. We're going to try this new time slot of 16Z instead of 10Z, so I'm not rushed when I get home from work. And my wife, who works in the office here too, has to put up with this. If she has Zoom meetings, hopefully we have a better read on if I can get going at 16 or if maybe have to push from there. But we're trying to work out a good balanced time of when is a good time to start, so we can try and get this thing on that set time. It's hard, especially with such an irregular schedule as mine, 24 on, 48. That's my normal. Of late, it seems like 48 on, 24 off, 48 on, 24 off. The other way around, which really rough. No, I try to put a break in there with my normal 2 days off before going to another one. All right, here comes the end of the runway, so let's give it a try. Okay, out onto the runway. And folks, if anything sounds too loud, too soft, let me know. We'll make the adjustments. Been trying to work on a couple things technically with the stream. One of my goals is to try to get the microphone hammered out so that maybe with the suppression, limiter, and I forget the other one always, get those three working together to maybe make it to where what my wife does over there you won't hear anyway, and we can proceed on, because what she does is she works in the financial world for a university, and you know that doesn't need to go out over the air here on Twitch or YouTube, especially if the person in question that might be on that they're talking about is on my stream. That would even be worse if they heard anything. So, or what other students are getting as well. Okay, so let's get her lined up on 070. And what I'm doing here is what our MQ25. Now, if you don't know what the MQ25 is, shame on you. No, just kidding. The MQ25 actually made history about a month ago. Okay, you're going to be that way. Hang on, I'm setting a parking brake. Did I start this? Yes, I did. Okay. The MQ25 is a stealth tanker. Let me rephrase that. Stealth drone tanker. So it's unmanned. They've been testing it at Mid-America Airport where I work. And month maybe now it's been, maybe a little longer or less. They did the first air refueling, and it was to F-18s, of an unmanned aircraft doing the air refueling. So they were the tanker, and then the receivers were obviously manned F-18s. So made history, and will be on the history books forever. So it's pretty cool. And we see it fly every so often. It's getting ready. I know the next phase are somewhere, sometime down the road. I don't know their schedule. The carrier quals will come. It's a Navy aircraft, so the carrier quals are coming. So I wish I could see that, but I also don't want to be firefighting on any ship. That is not a place for me. All right, so we're on the runway. We're going to run the before takeoff checklist, which is condition levers now to high idle. And again, we have to do them individually on this one. See, I'd like to do the mod he did, except don't worry about failures. Just like the twin moving of these, that would be great. Condition levers are up. Suction and device pressure, that again, remember, was over on this side. Let me come over here and we'll get in close. Here they are right here, pneumatic and gyro, good. Oxygen's still good. We're on auto, good, good. Boost pumps checked. Engine friction set. Avionics and radar set. Flight controls one more time. Around the horn. You can see the rudder pedals just barely, and look, there's nobody in the chair. Okay, and finally working our way down pitot heats on transponder to altitude. Make sure the synchrophaser, that's right here, folks. Make sure that stays off. We are going to put the auto feather to arm, and we're going to go ahead and turn on our auto ignition. There'll be two green lights here. They'll go out when we throttle up. And the strobes now to on. Yes, they go off when I hit the brakes. All right, we are ready to go, folks. High idle already has her wanting to move. Folks, here we go. Antenna traffic, Mac Air 572 type King Air. Second time here, trying for the takeoff, runway 7. Okay, here we go, folks. Stupid me. Doing way too much at once.
V1. Rotate.
Gear up. That's what I get for doing way too much at once.
Gear up.
And we'll go ahead and make that right-hand turn. Nice and easy. The big thing, folks, this gauge right here at the R, that's about a 22 point something degree turn, standard rate turn. And again, once we come around the horn here and go reciprocal, which is roughly 2.5, we'll kick on the autopilot. Okay, initial climb is stopped. Let's go ahead and dial back to 2000. And again, props are this one, so we're going to about right there. Okay, and we're about ready to start our rollout. Flaps up.
V2.
Okay, a little bit of back trim, not much. Perfect. Get the autopilot on. Heading. There we go. For some reason it didn't take. Now I'm going to set GPS and nav. All right, so it should maintain to 2000. The funny thing is, right now, spooled up just for your situational wares, I am floored. I am all the way on my throttle stick, all the way to the floorboard or firewall, however you want to say it. ITT isn't even close. Props are a little low, but we'll get that here in a minute. And we're 100% turbine. Kind of weird. I can't get near that without redlining something, and I'm redlining the ITT. Gonna set turbine at 98. So yeah, the initial torque is way off. But we all know that is a default airplane. What do you expect? Fine tuning. There we go. And we blew by our course. Oh, I know why. Hang on. There's a guy here that didn't think this through properly. Let's see here. Click that. So we can highlight it, come to clear. Come down, click menu, activate leg. And that'll put us on the leg. You know, I don't know what Otto's thinking about on here. You know, that guy's always wanting to be blown up. I don't know what's going on with him. Oh, I think I left the flight director off too. I did. Here we go. Yeah, we're going to have to get a new one. Anyway, welcome aboard Flying with Mike. Second attempt here to Ruby Airport. First attempt ended up in engine fires. Oh, I'd say 5 minutes after takeoff. I think I caused it because when I throttled up, I couldn't, with reading my gauges, I couldn't take it past the intermediate stop on my throttle, which would be push over to afterburner if you're on fighter. But I wanted to go a little bit more to bring some torque in that up, and it redlined and boom, popped them on fire. That I don't think the airplane is that unforgiving. But I could be wrong. And I think the developer may want to look at that failure that he has working there for future reference. But anyway, hey, we're on our way. You peeps in the back get a chance to walk around, do what you want to do. We're going to lower the climb rate here.
10,000 feet.
Down to around 1,000, get some airspeed built up. And right now, I am in that part where you'd be going to afterburner on a fighter, on my flight system. And we're not even pushing. We're almost redline on the ITT. Thank goodness, that is true. Torquing up again, this is default, so it's gonna be not perfect. It's not meant for that purpose. A little bit more. There we go, building some speed up. All right, folks, so let me get into the after takeoff. Okay, landing gears up, flaps up, autopilot's on, engines and climb performance, auto ignition as required. We'll leave them on. Props are at 2,000. Let's get those props synchronized. The synchro phaser is right here, folks. Simply turn it on. That thing will stop. Auto feather can go off now. And engine instruments, we'll keep an eye on. Cabins required. Cabin signs are off at the time. And the pressurization system we'll keep an eyeball on. That's right here. That we're set properly, and we are. We're set properly there. And then here is our cabin altitudes right here. Looks like we're doing fine. Everything's in the green. And the weather guesser there in Tana was way off. There is no 6,000 foot overcast sky. It's going to probably be 14,000. So we'll see. But anyway, folks, enjoy the ride. Any questions, comments, flights you'd like to see done, or, you know, if you like, Paragodney, we appreciate you. Followed us here right at the beginning of the show. We appreciate it. But also, if you want to join us, online, offline conversation, lower right corner, you'll see Discord. And what that'll do is allow you to chat with us offline. I'm currently not in there because I've been having a lot of problems. But, you know, I'm right now in the Alaskan bush flying chat. So feel free to come in. And the water's warm. Come on in and join us. Don't have many people over on our Discord channel yet, but I'd like to slowly build that up as I'm building up my channel, just so we have a place while we're on and offline. And, oh, we are going to pop on top. Good deal. I was hoping I was going to have to turn on some anti-ice, other than what we have already. All right, and we'll do a little walkthrough of this aircraft. I may try to switch back and give it a try again. It's only 50 miles over to the next place. What the heck? Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to get it in on that one. And we're still climbing for some strange reason. Welcome to Flying with Mike. Let me see if I can't nose over here and get her to kind of try to behave of some kind. Just making sure everything's reading like it should to be able to hold the altitude. Punching through the tops. Love that. My kind of flying, punching through the tops of the clouds. Now, after we get the next 5 flights, I think we have left on the tour for this season. We got one more season of 20 flights. That'll be Tour 3 with Millennium Aviation. Once we get through those, we're going to work with the King Air and maybe get the 350 up here in Alaska in air ambulance operations. I'm going to try to figure out how to work that in, because they got some really, I mean, folks, this is the ambulance out here in the bush. Either this plane, the Caravan, heck, even a Beaver, even though it's a lot slower, it could be, you know, your only hope of getting to a hospital, either in Anchorage or Fairbanks, or, you know, name your, I don't know what's all out here, folks, I'll be totally honest. I know Anchorage has a hospital right on Merrill that they pull up to with the air ambulances and the regular ambulance. So that's one thing we're going to look into after the next series. We also have ongoing a virtual airline pilot and a virtual cargo pilot and a virtual charter airline pilot. More craft oriented with the military, civilian reserve air fleet. So be watching for those to be coming. So I just wanted to get that thrown out there for you so you all know kind of what we do here. I love flying Alaska. The scenery that X-Plane puts out here is phenomenal. I know, guys, go ahead, tell me. Microsoft's better? Yes. But I would be only in Microsoft right now for the DC3, or DC6, sorry, my apology. Beyond that, maybe the Airbus, maybe. Beyond that, though, they still got a lot of problems with the airliners. Hopefully, as PMDG comes along and says, hey, you got to do this. Hey, do this to make this work better, this to work better. We'll have a better airline platform within Microsoft Flight Sim. Till then, I'm kind of still on the fence, although I'm leaning right now because the DC6, I'm still very much on that fence of whether I'll pull the trigger for Microsoft. I actually love FSX. The scenery, yeah. Without Orbix, it sucked. Quite frankly, period, end of discussion, it sucked. And I know that's the big thing they worked on with the new one. Now, X-Plane 12 is in the works. Will we see another improvement? Because the last time I tried X-Plane, which was, oh my gosh, maybe 10 years ago, when X-Plane 6, I think it was, 7, somewhere in there, the scenery wasn't all that great, and the aircraft were toys. I mean, they were so horrid. I just couldn't. Well, X-Plane 8, I think, somewhere in that plane, I remember something in that time frame when the scenery got a major overhaul. Airplanes didn't, but the scenery did, which I know is the start. And then over the next 3 or 4 iterations, we're at where we're at now. And these are nice. Not great, but they're nice. I mean, I like them. The Zebo, also free. It's just like PMDG's $60, $70, $80 737, but it's free and it does the same thing. There's a couple quirks with it, but it's a good airplane. So anyway, folks, enough about me talking. What do you all want to talk about? Let's get you going here in the chat room. We'd love to hear from you. And go from there. We've got about... Oh, where are we at here? We're Rossi. We're 26 miles out of Rossi. Then we got to head down to Horsey. I love these fixes sometimes. Come on, head on down. We got to get on that Horsey down there. Anyway, and then we'll cut over to our initial for the arrival. Still looking good on everything. Temperature, which is right here, our outside air temperature is minus 15. So before we head into the clouds, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and kick on the prop anti-ice, just as a precautionary. All right, so 14,000 feet, and let's see here. Well, they're saying about 14 minutes to go. So you know what we're going to do? Let's delve into the charts here and see where we stand. My apologies. There we go. Okay, first thing out of the, let's pull Sim Toolkit up. Okay. And then we'll go into the charts. So hang on, I'm just getting all that queued up. All right, so we got Sim Toolkit in front of us. Just making sure. Yes, we do. Okay, and one last check. Okay, with Sim Toolkit, you can see us working down. Kind of sometimes wish we could get rid of this, but that's okay. Our airport is Papa Alpha Romeo Yankee. We'll be arriving on runway 21. Airport's 658 feet above sea level. We're following the Yukon River right here, folks. That's what the routing has been. The length is 4,000 feet, plenty for the aircraft with a little bit of a downslope. Weather? 29. It's about an hour old, oddly enough. And winds are 2803, call them calm, 10 miles. We got some clouds at 3,400 feet, which kind of show up here. I don't know if this is current or not. I'll be totally honest. I think that's the satellite image that was taken whenever it was taken. And then we'll be setting 3002 at Horsey. All right, so there's our basics into the airport. What's this one? Radio frequency wise, just looking to see if there's a, nope, there isn't. So we'll be coming in on 122.8. And we don't need the airport charts. And this is the old flight summary page. This is what evolved into this. Sometimes I wish I could go back to it. But it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and swipe this out and bring the charts on board. Bear with me. There we go. All right, so there are the charts. Here's our routing. Yeah, I don't have the airplane up on it, I just noticed. Let's get that turned on. And you can see at Horsey, we're going to, instead of go direct, we're going to make a turn for our initial to come in. So let's take a look at that, shall we? All right, so we're real close to Horsey. We may even need to start down here. Okay, here, whoop, wrong airport. Here we go. All right, so we're going to be coming up to Agiv, to Poyuk, and then following it in. The big things here are frequencies across the top. Common traffic 122.8. We're already on it. There's our RNAV frequency. We can't set that, folks. That's set internally. Final approach course, though, is 211. Rubio, right here, 2,600 feet. Then we continue in. Our decision altitude is 990 feet MSL or 260 feet AGL. Here's our missed approach information. Basically, we climb to 6,000 direct weak, and then we turn back to Junib and then over to a give, and we'll go into our hold until instructed. It's a direct entry, so it's a piece of cake. Enter, fly. I forget how I was taught on the instrument, but basically we're going to make it into a left-hand, right-hand turns, so we just go straight into it. Now, one thing on the chart here. Here's our vertical. Yeah, we need to get down to 6,000, and we'll do that here real quick. Right here is how you maintain a 3-degree slope. Whatever you plan your landing speed or your approach speed at, we'll be at about 120-ish. You'll need to maintain a 600 or so, 600, 650, somewhere in the middle there. They say 637 feet a minute. That's hard to set up with just dials. But if you maintain that, you're on a 3-degree slope, which will take you from Ruby right down to the runway. Pappies will be on the left. Here's our minimums right below. 919 and a mile. That's all we need. So we're good on that. That's our charts. Our approach speed, folks, is planned today to be, bear with me. We're going to touch down at or around 95 and final approach 110. So 110 to 120 is what we'll be. I'm going to go ahead and dial us in for descent. 6,000. We'll come down here, push descent. We'll watch it. We're going to go ahead and help. And I'm going to set VS. Okay, and now let's go ahead, since we just turned at Horsey, go to the procedure page. Select your approach. Enter. Ah, we don't have this. Okay, so we're going to proceed in. Because this airport is not in the database, we have no approaches. Now, I'd like to find out if that means usually it tells me that, though, when I put it in. Huh. Interesting. Now I'm stuck. There we go. I hate when I get stuck like that. All right, so we're going to keep our descent. We got 25 miles to get down, and we're going to keep our speed right about there. All right. Hope for the best here, coming into the clouds. Let's pull that up. We're going to descend a little faster. And if need be, pull your power back. That helps too. See how it does on IAS. Okay, so we're starting down. Let's go ahead and switch over to Galena. 54 miles out. Now that's past our airports. We don't want to get them confused. Oh, we're 54 miles out. No, we're actually only 20 miles out, and we're way high. Mainly because I was planning to shoot up to a give and then work our way around. Let me get that off our... I just noticed it was still up. It's not going to help us.
10,000 feet.
19 miles to go. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn all our lights on. Put them in their seats. Now I'm going to make sure we maintain this VS. Possibility we may end up overflying the airport and coming into a downwind for landing. Again, remember our weather report from here. Hang on a second. Supposed to be broken at 3,400 feet. Again, airfield elevation. Let's go to 3002 first. Airfield elevation is 658 feet. So that'll give us, we should pop out of the clouds. Should is the key word here. Okay, torque is just about to 0, so we'll keep it where it's at. Going to continue down. To 3, we're going to come down to 2,000. That'll put us 1,400 feet above the field. A little high on the traffic pattern, but that'll work out for us. Currently, 21 is going to be the runway. Okay, so that means we're going to be going in about, so we'll need to come around, okay. What I'm doing now is setting up. Try and get her to 3. That'll be our, what we aim for in our, okay, we got a master caution. Okay. Perfect. We're coming out of the clouds. Cross feeds are coming off. Okay. Airfield is now 8 miles. Let's get to the tail. Runway should be running like this.
2,500.
You would think at 5 miles we could, whoa, come on, trim. Oh, they're going to make this one a fun one to find.
1,000.
Okay, where is our
1,000.
airport? Oh, it's right ahead of us. Got it. Okay, why was I disconnected from VATSIM? Okay. All right, so we're over the airport. We're going to kill the autopilot. Actually, no. You know what? I'm going to overfly. Off GPS. Okay, first notch of flaps. And now the landing gear. And we got disconnected again, so I don't know what's going on. Not gonna worry.
Gear down.
Okay, let's get the props to full. That's what the RVS means. We're not going to be able to run our reverse if we don't.
$1,000.
I hate when I roll out like this. There it is. Wow. Welcome to Alaska, folks. That runway is not 600 feet above sea level. It feels like going into Eagle or Telluride. Okay.
Five hundred. 400. 300.
We're going to
200.
go ahead and go around on this one.
Gear up.
Come on, airplane. we're not going to worry about that crap with VATSIM. Is off. Okay, autopilot is off. Oh, that's why. I set my heading wrong. That's why everything's confusing me. Okay, folks, sorry for the quietness. We're going to make our turn again. Problem is, you really cannot see this airfield.
Gear down.
Caution terrain. Caution terrain.
$1,000.
I really hate this when it's not. Now where the heck did my airport go? Right over there. Holy mackerel. Okay. For a calm, roughly calm wind, this isn't that calm. Okay, we're landing this time.
500. 400.
Stable as best
300.
we can.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
A little harder thump than I wanted, but we got her in there this time. This ain't an easy airport to find, by the way, folks. Okay, So we've arrived here at Ruby Airport after a little bit of a trial and error to get here. Let me figure out what the heck is going on here. Hang on a second. It's the only thing I can think was going on. Let's see what happens. Okay, let me pull my chart up here. Parking. All the way at the other end. I didn't see it, but it says that's where it's at. And then as we taxi back, we'll do the after landing stuff. Okay, we'll go ahead and bring it around. Okay. After landing, flaps up. Okay, we'll run with the landing light. Auto ignitions can go off. Let's see. Pitot heat can go off. Go ahead and get the prop off too. Condition levers to low idle here shortly. Transponder, we'll get that in a moment too. And we'll get the strobes once we come off the runway. Let me make sure. It'll be to my right at the end. Okay. Now, while we're taxiing, I'm going to go ahead and bring Sim Toolkit up. Show you a neat little thing you can do with Sim Toolkit. Let me go to the live map. Hang on a second. Let me make sure we're not going to go off the cliff. That would be bad. Okay, we're going to zoom right in. Let's see first how well they depicted it. Hey, we're right on it. There are times when they aren't the same. This is where we're headed. But you can see, you can come down and see your taxi if you don't have the chart. Oh, by the way, did I mention this was free? The Sim Toolkit. I let the cat out of the bag. Sorry, folks. But yeah, we're coming up to the end right now. Let's see where we stand. Yeah, and as you can see, they don't have that portion like that. Technically, in the nav databases, they don't have this put in. So I'm going to see if Mac Air has it recorded. $561, and we showed $561 as well from Sim Toolkit. So we'll go with, we landed at 561 feet a minute. I have nothing to argue with. And as we can see on Sim Toolkit, we are now reaching the end. Hang on a second, I just want to make sure. There it is real quick, folks, so you can see it before we make the turn. Realized I didn't do that. We're going to go ahead and make the turn. And you can use this. I'm not going to follow it because I'll end up on a cliff. And for VATSIM purposes, we're just going to call us on the ramp here. Okay, yeah, because if I go any further over that way, folks, we're going to record crashing. Yeah, here, let me pull Sim Toolkit to you real quick. So as you can see, the parking is technically back in here. Still got some runway. I'm sitting right on the edge. Yeah, this isn't at all jiving. Let's take a look at a couple things here while we shut down. So, but anyway, we could park back there. I'm not taking the chance. We'll just stay right here. However, we are at 600 feet. Okay, I won't complain that it's not in here correctly, but somehow I don't think this is right. No. And literally, you could do the same thing here on the flight planning preview. Problem is you got clouds, so that'll be a problem. But anyway, we're here. We're going to just go ahead and just do the shutdown. So that way, we can take a look at the landing and then call this stream completed. We are going to try and fly the next leg, which is... But I'm going to have to shut down and come back up for it. I was hoping to do it on a stop and go, but with all that we have going on, I want to do a couple tests real quick before we press on. So let's go ahead first. It's shutdown procedures are parking brakes set, which it is. Transfer pumps off, not the boost pumps. Cross feeds off. Inverter. That's weird. I think I'm going to turn the avionics off. Okay, come down to the bottom. Flight director, trim, and all off. Yaw damper off. Okay. Synchrophasers off. Landing lights off. Go ahead and turn the recognition off. Let's go ahead and pull those power levers back. Let her start cooling down. Avionics switch off. Inverter off. Auto feather is off. Cabin air temperature off. Bar lights off. All right, and there we go. We'll actually set that up to 3. Okay. Still got a few more seconds. Basically, what it's wanting us to do is wait at least a minute once we're below 610. $600 right there. And I'm going to call that our minute. Let's feather out these props. One second, folks. All right, folks, I'm back with you. Apologize. The boss of Flying with Mike is graciously providing the flight crew some soda. So thank God for that. Okay, so we got the props feathered. Let's go ahead and go to cutoff. And we'll wait till they get below 10%. Turbines, that is. Right here's what we're watching. Once that happens, we'll turn the boost pumps off and then the battery gen gang bar. And I'll explain that in a second. I worked at Scott with C12s, which are really Beach 200s. There we go, we're below. So let's get over to the fuel panel, boost pumps off. And these switches here, and I think there were a couple of others in there, but don't quote me on that. But there was, just like on the Zebo, how you have a bar to put all the lights on real quick. So you just reach up, hit the bar, and all the lights go down and out and all of that, upside down, right side up. Same thing happens here, and it makes sure everything is off. So that way your gens, your battery, everything's off. Folks, we're into blocks and shutdown. 1 second here, we're coming off VATSIM. And paying our dues to Millennium. And we're going to confirm that flight is over there. Oh, wait, I can do that on the home page. Doggone it. Yeah, that was not a one of, oh, they're not even, oh, they're not going to. Yeah, I was going the right way. Dang it. They have a contest in progress at Millennium Aviation. Basically, if I understood it right, they give you clues to the next destination, and you have to sort it together, then find a flight inside their open, historical, or cargo schedules. Cannot make a charter, and you have to get yourself to that destination. Obviously, the first one starts from your home base. I didn't get involved in that. If they do something like that again, I might, but I was too deep in other things that I didn't want to pull away from it. So, but it's really a kind of a neat idea. It's kind of hard to explain. You kind of got to read through it and see it. I know I hate saying that, but yeah, it's unique. It's the first one I've ever heard of where they're doing that. And where am I here? 6. What is today? Did I not like? That's what I did wrong. I lined them up. I accepted. Dummy. I'm a dummy. Okay, so we're approval pending. That means we can close that out. And closed. Minimize this. And we'll go ahead and close VATSIM for now. Okay. All right, so let's do this. First things first. This is a crappy approach, but you know, you only learn by watching. And of course, we got to put some appropriate music on here. Let's see. We'll see how this goes. And I'm also learning too, folks, so I'm watching intently. Yeah, that kind of hurt. Go a little further out. All right, I'm going to pull something up that kind of gets in the way a little bit. Oop, that's not what I wanted to click. Did it again, folks. Stand by. Watch out the wings here and see. This was not an easy airport to find, or that, or I'm just blind. But folks, you know, it was a fun run. That wasn't too bad. Switch over to the other side. Okay, well that was weird. Huh. Oh, I see what I pushed. I was going, why can't I see who's in my chat room? Okay, I see what I pushed. Oh, and I still got Sim Toolkit up here. Boy, am I silly. Alright, that looked good too. Go one more time. This won't be a great one. Well, we're going to let her run out from here, folks. And like I said, what we're going to do, we're going... Oh, got a little ways to go on this. Yeah, we're just going to let her run. That was another good landing there. Again, my apologies for Sim Toolkit being up there for the rewinds here. 561 feet a minute was the landing rate here. Folks, we're going to shut the stream down, reset everything. I want to do a test flight yet again in the default, the mod that's out there for this, and see if I throw an engine fire or not. I'm pretty sure what I did caused it. But I want to make sure before we try the simple 58-mile run. So, we do want to thank PARY for joining the stream. Sorry for some of the hiccups along the way. You got to see some of the fun that happens on Flying with Mike. namely engine fires. And they only come really with that airplane. But we do thank you all. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're now showing 60 followers. Hallelujah. Who'd have thought that back in September or October of last year when we launched this? We thank you, each and every one of you. We hope to get our viewers is the other thing I'm working on. We're working on the mic here to try to get what she does, my wife, off to the left here in her part of the office, so it doesn't come in on the mic here at Flying with Mike, so y'all don't need to hear that financial stuff. So but we thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us. Feel free to come over to our Discord channel so we could have conversations offline and, if need be, online. Now, there's a lot of times in the chat I only have one screen in front of me that I may not be able to see what's going on in the Discord room, so my apologies. But feel free to join in. We'd like to also start trying to get some more people involved in there. And hang on a second before I screw up. There we go. And again, we thank you for flying with Mike. We hope you have, if you're not able to join us for the little 58-mile run from here to the next airport, which I'm sorry I don't have handy. Why do I not have that handy? I'll get it here for y'all. The next airport we'll be going to is Koyukuk Airport, PFKU. Like I said, it's only a little, they call it 72 miles. Well, it's just a little hop, skip, and a jump in the King Airs. So, folks, thanks for flying with Mike. We do appreciate you. And as always, God bless. We hope you have a great day. And we hope to see you in the next stream here starting, in just a few minutes.